10,000 users, and basically your marketing budget is around $0.
$0.
Can you give an example for a feature that really drove this kind of virality that has this expansion baked in? Loop's co-founder CEO Mariah Blumenfeld, thank you for joining me. Just launched how long ago? Like,
So that was under 2 months ago. Yeah, we
because
wrote the first line of code in September of 2022. The beta, which was really like App Store, Play Store, like availability for the masses on May 11th.
crazy. Just let me sure I get this straight. You guys have 10,000 users, and basically your marketing budget is around $0.
$0. So just to give context, so Loop is a setup app. It's basically bringing matchmaking back into fashion with a cool social app where singles and non-singles can come together to bring people together and create human connection as an alternative to the swipe-based apps. It is built as an app, so Play Store, App Store. That's where we are. We launched beta on May 11th, and we hit 10,000 users exactly 50 days from this launch, with, as you said, zero marketing. It was all
absolutely mind-boggling. Yeah, let's talk about that. What does
Yeah.
it mean? What does it mean? $0 marketing budget. What was a significant factor, or how did you even get 10,000 users?
A lot of my friends are actually founders in B2C, and they're going through the motion of talking to VCs and trying to, to get VCs to buy into their idea. And I think when you do a B2C business, the first question you're going to get is, of course, distribution, because distribution is everything in B2C.
Yes.
And VCs, I feel like a lot of my friends are frustrated because they feel like VCs expect them to come up with the most novel, brand new way of acquiring users that no one has ever came up with before, and invent the wheel. And the fact is that it's really hard to invent the wheel. What I keep telling them, and what we did at Loop that was really successful, is really building a viral product that is inherently viral. Meaning, when you start designing your product in a B2C, you don't just design the product and then think about distribution as a separate bucket. You have to literally build every feature with virality in mind. The product needs to look different than it would have if you haven't baked in virality. And that's what we've done. What we're building is a social graph. And so the product is inherently viral. And so that's essentially what created this achievement of 10K users in 50 days.
Amazing. This is exactly where, if you don't mind, I want to double click.
Of course, yeah.
Can you give an example for a feature that really drove this kind of virality that has this expansion baked in?
Sure. So, for example, when you go into one of your single friends in your loop, and you want to set them up, you have the option to set them up with anybody else in your loop that is your friend, or a friend of a friend. And in that screen, we literally give you a button that allows you to invite with a setup. Like, you invite a person with that setup in mind. And so think about how much more likely this is to convert than just a random generic, hey, Mariah invites you to this app, whatever. It's always about really honing into the intention, really honing into what's really driving behavior, and using that everywhere you can in the product.
Gotcha. So the shareability or the invite mechanism is driven by or designed around the intent,
around the value proposition,
the invitee.
Around more than the invitee, around the value prop. So you have to get really crisp on what is the value proposition, and then you have to design every single screen and feature with that value proposition in mind. And how do you push that value proposition to serve those features versus vice versa?
Let's say, as a non-user who might get an invite, my intent, I can be one of two personas, right? I can be like a bachelor, kind of like looking to be set up, or a potential matchmaker.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have a way to control for that? Like, can I invite a matchmaker, or can I invite just bachelors? And how do you manage the different intents into this virality?
Yeah, that's a really good. I think the main challenge that we have here and had from the beginning and will forever have is the fact that we have two personas baked into one. Because when you come to Loop and you specify you register as a single person, everyone on the app is a matchmaker in addition to being single. Everyone is a matchmaker, and then you're either open to introductions or not. We literally spent hundreds of man hours trying to figure out how do you speak in both voices. And we did a bunch of testing, and what we realized eventually is that people don't like to be labeled as, oh, poor me, I'm single, everybody needs to help me, but rather they love to be empowered and to help their friends. And so it
Yes.
turned out that if you are single and I tell you, hey, Omer, come help your friends, find their person, you're much more likely to convert than if I tell you, hey, Omer, like, come invite your friends so they can help you find someone. And so that crack, that was such an important point to really hone in on the copy and like how we treat those two intentions in one way.
Amazing. How did you learn? You have the cold start 0 to 1 kind of situation. You
Yeah,
cannot run A/B
yeah,
tests for 5 months.
right.
How do you get insights like that?
I'll tell you how you get insights. You just go and put yourself in the deepest water. We went to Harvard, my alma mater. We literally put the product in front of very smart people. And I constantly changed my script, constantly. It was A B testing on the go. I was
Oh,
explaining to person number one what it is in one way. And then the next person I explain in a different way. And after 100 times you do that, you pick up on the subtleties of where people kind of shy away and they're like, oh, no, 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 that's not for me, versus,
oh,
oh, wait, this is amazing. And so that was really the.
like on the ground user interviews that help you shape your product terminology, your copy, and how you think about the persona.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny, but you always get to that point when you have a successful product that you have like successful product is where the product teams talk to users, which is so less common than we are willing to admit.
100%. 100%. And by the way, like, since we launched, we received thousands of emails from users who are so eager and excited to give us feedback. They literally write page-long
Wow.
essays about how excited they are about the product, how it can change the world, like, and then they give me a set of features, and based on all of this massive amounts of data, we were able to come up with the next design sprint and design the next version of the product end to end. We didn't even have to go through the iterations because I had so much information that I could go off of.
Oh
I
wow.
recognized patterns, the trends, and I just designed the whole thing. And now we have to go obviously and test a lot of these things, but it really helps in the design process.
Wow. So like you have a way to digest all of this feedback coming from users into your roadmap. Do you have like
Exactly.
some process? Like do you
Absolutely not. It's literally we're three co-founders and like a couple of engineers. So all we do is we literally all of us sit down on this email inbox and we just read the emails. It's very important that we all familiar with what users want at this point. And
I
so
love this.
totally manual. We don't sleep. That's all we do.
I love this. This is like, this is like the classic do things that don't scale that you just
Exactly.
will
Paul
get you off the
Wilson,
ground.
do things that don't scale. That's my Bible.
Amazing. Let's switch gears just a little bit. So Harvard, McKinsey, how does that translate to your everyday as a startup founder and CEO? It
Yeah.
feels like, McKinsey is so corporate and what you're doing is so 0 to 1.
First of all, Harvard, I speak about this a lot. I think Harvard has had the biggest contribution to what I'm doing today in the following manner. So Harvard really taught me the how to think from a first principles perspective. Most people approach problem solving by looking at the solutions that exist and just iterating
Hmm.
incrementally, like improving whatever exists incrementally.
Yeah.
First principle says ignore everything that exists. Start from scratch. If you were to design something from scratch, how would that look like? Harvard, when you come in, the first thing they sort of tell you in a metaphorical way is drop everything you know about the axioms and the fundamentals of your life. Forget about democracy, forget about gender, forget about religion, forget about all these axioms, and just redesign your reality anew. And that's really what is transformational. When I started Loop, enough with the swiping. Like, let's just imagine a world where swiping didn't exist. How did people meet before? They met in the freaking shtetl through their friends, through their family, through their school, through their workplace, whatever. let's imagine a digital product that will empower this behavior versus ruin this
Mm,
behavior and take it to
mm.
freaking swiping on random people. And so that is really how we came up with Loop. And I think that was the main contribution of Harvard.
Gotcha. Okay, so I love this. The first principles thinking on how people should meet each other makes you think like, how come no one has done this before? Just on top of your mind.
Yeah.
One thing that helped your team, like the product team, moves faster. Like the one thing that is a game changer for you.
The one thing that is a game changer for me, I mean, nothing replaces amazing communication. Nothing. Like no amount of process can supplement incredible communication. Me and my amazing co-founder Liani, we're talking about the product constantly, like constantly. We are on Zoom all day long, just shooting, ideas and like thinking through things together. And some people would think that this is, inefficient. Well, it is the most efficient because our
Oh, wow.
product literally is what delivered this incredible success. And I wouldn't do it any other way.
Wow. At the moment for this quarter, what is your North Star KPI and why?
The North Star KPI right now is growth. So meaning it translates into number of users, obviously. It's a network. And so the greater the network, the better. Obviously, it's coupled with density of network, which is just as important as the size. So the one, again, the one North Star KPI is really number of users. Virality is incredibly important as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How do you measure virality?
K factor, common K factor, number
So just
of
like each one of your users, how many people they invite.
So yeah, so the K factor is really the way that the industry measures virality. It's calculated as the number of invites an average user sends times the number of invites that are actually converted into users.
Gotcha. That's smart, especially for a product that is so invite driven to some extent.
Exactly.
If I were to tomorrow, I won the lottery and I want to wire Loop $10 million. What would you do with that? Tomorrow?
I would turn it into 1 billion within 2.5 years.
Right, but let's think about it like as like you get this extra gas, like you can scale faster, whatever. You can do anything that you don't have the budget for today. What is this one thing you don't have the budget for today that you really want to do?
I would go and I would take this money and I would develop all the features I have in the pipeline, because those features are inherently designed to 10x virality, to 10x distribution. I do not rely, like if somebody's answer to that question is I'm going to throw a bunch of money on Instagram ads, it is the wrong answer. Like the product needs to deliver the distribution, the product itself, the features of the product, the imagination that goes into the product. That is what should drive adoption. And so I have a roadmap for a year. I wanna implement it in a week. So that's what I would do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Last question about product here that we have for all dating apps. You guys are not a dating app, but you might suffer from similar pain, right?
Yeah.
For dating apps, a true success, and this has been a discussion in the industry, a true success is from the intent and value perspective, users get matched and maybe, this goes forever. They get married, whatever. If that happens, they never come back to the app.
Right.
How do you guys think about that in terms of user retention versus actually matches happening?
Yeah. So, I think we kind of solve this problem, because when you successfully get set up on Loop, then, and let's say you move on and this is your person and now you become a non-single, you just literally switch a toggle to non-single. And now it's your time to pay it forward and help others sort of get to that amazing place that you got to. And now you can do that. And I think a very important value for us really is reciprocity. It's about, helping your friends in the journey. It's about really using this journey of finding your person as a community exercise building, as a way to meet amazing people and get to know them and maybe make friends along the way. It doesn't have to be a binary 0 or 1. I either go on a date with you and never see you again, or we get married.
That's amazing.
So we're spreading quickly in Tel Aviv. Download Loop, give it a try, invite all your single and non-single friends. You never know what life you can change. And by the way, single friends can look into their friends' loops, see anyone they like, and ask for an introduction. So even as a matchmaker, you don't have to do anything. Your friends can find other people through you and ask you for the introduction such that you can take the credit. And let me know if you have any feedback. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search my name.
Amazing. Mora, thank you so much. I think this is extremely helpful for so
Thank
many
you.
B2C founders.